Well, maybe one too many surprises for Kassar coming into this one, but let's see what IHC have in store. Potentially their final lifeline here in Katowice, and it comes down to their map of Inferno first with Harry and Hugo.
Thank you very much, Frey. Yes, IHC taking on Cloud9. Elimination on the line. And for either one of these squads, going to be heartbreak at the end of it. Very different situations, though, for either team. I've got Hugo with me. We're going to be talking you through this one. Let's get into Inferno, shall we?
Yeah, why wait around? This is going to be... It has the potential of a banger, because I think we have to respect IHC and what they've already done at this tournament, and some of the names they've taken, not just here, but back at Rio as well. But it also has the potential for a blowout, Harry. We already saw these teams take each other on, and Cloud9 had no issue knocking IHC down a peg back into play-in. So, eyes open for this one, minds open, as IHC send their way into that A site. Mind blown open for Bartak, as the dualies up in apartments already proved to be a problem, and Nafany will not give them an inch as he hides down. Techno taps him out, and Axel falls to the pit player. A site given up.
Yeah, Shiro and Hobbit left up in this one. Hobbit with a big wrap in through the apartments, coming in on a backstab here. Him and Shiro have to try and play off one another. There is this pit site crossfire. No one has to be open to this guy in the apartments, and Score finds a nice timing. Shiro only good for the first. That immediate dink puts him on the back foot right away. And so IHC, they might have not found the opener there. They might have gone down 4v5 to open that up. But then, as they get in, as they work their way into that A site with the Moto smoke down, they're able to find success. Also, Cloud9, not a team immune to pushing through those smokes in rounds like that. IHC know to keep a keen eye on it.
Yeah.
They locked out that attempted Moto push, and that felt like a real turning point in the round.
Especially when you're coming in as a heavy favorite, right? Like, yeah, disrespect plays are not going to be a huge shocker to IHC. I really feel like we've seen the, you know, not just the rise of the dualies in recent changes with the price going now to 300 a few months back, but players have definitely been mastering those guns, because when we first started seeing dualies the last couple of years, I don't think players were as good, right? There were a couple of players notable that were very efficient with them, but I feel like everyone's getting a lot better with those pistols, so it's definitely fun to see. It's a nice change to pistol rounds. I was a dualie hater for a long time, but I'm starting to love it, frankly. For now, Cloud9 forced up. These can be very scary rounds. Hobbit has used one of his 2 mags. So, no room for error for Hobbit. Even some missed shots could leave him with just his knife in this second round. IHC boost up at the top of B. They're going back to check the A site in Bartak, but they're still grouped, ready to execute late. Nades are equipped. We might be seeing potentially a nade stack on this B site. That would be nice. Something with intent to find an opening kill. Look at the gap Bartak's taken. Oh my goodness. IHC, they do not have to jump the gun here. They can wait all the way for this flank. And with the CT smokes as well, not just gauging a reaction on the B play, but giving room for Bartak to try and find kills. He's going back through Library to take down Buster, and he should have an easy kill on his plate.
Yeah, he's got that one in the bag. Buster's got no idea. Bartak elusive as ever. And now Axel alone down in the pit. Holding the right angle for this swing, but with his teammates falling over in middle, the odds of finding much in this round should be out the window. He's finally flushed out a pit while the rest of the retake squad here look to come through. That swing from Techno 4K has given a gun over, has given Cloud9 the 2v3, but it looks like they might just elect to save here, bowing out of the round. IHC onto a second. They will get the conversion.
Keeping rifles at least, but yeah, the best gun given over to Hobbit, and you know Cloud9 will make use of this opportunity to essentially have 2 force buys in a row, right? They're not going to rebuy again, but they will have a good chance to cause some more damage, cause some more havoc. However, IHC, well played round. Bartak finds a gap, and they don't overthink it. They realize if long is open, there must be a heavy B setup. Could have waited for Bartak to flank, but instead just overwhelmed the weaker site of 2. And that's one of the coolest things about IHC and seeing them over the last few months. It's like, you know, not just have we had many Asian teams over the years try and compete with the world's best and find upsets in BO1s, especially when I think about like old DreamHack Masters events with an Asian spot, teams like Tyloo and Vici getting overtime games, or sometimes even BO1 wins over teams like Na'Vi at the time. So always been exciting. The style IHC play is far more Eurocentric and far more European than many of these teams in the past. Not wild and rifle communication issues and big mistakes. Not only do we have players with a high potential skill available, some great aimers in this region, but also IHC have been playing very solid T-side fundamental Counter-Strike, and that is a nice improvement across this region. Little boost on B. Hobbit over the tippity top, putting this AK to use, but how many kills does he stay on the boost for? As long as IHC have good spacing, they should be able to trade this kill. Unless Hobbit goes for the full mowdown. Let's see.
He's waiting. That's a good fight for him to open, right? No attempt at the trade. Admittedly does mean they don't run the risk of getting mowed down in one fell swoop from that AK. And now they might look for some other answers to this problem. Bartak once again trying to explore this little wrap over towards long. He hears them coming back. He hears them leaving B, and so that's been commed across. Will fall at the hands of Axal's scout. It's guns to be retrieved. But IHC have done a really good job of kind of piecing this one together, right? Taking aggression all across the map to slowly but surely paint a picture as to what's happening here. They will be coming in with the round win, even looking to remove these guns at the very end. And I've got to say that it feels like IHC, as the event's gone on, as they've been here longer as well, you know, I feel like we've seen improvements in their game. They kind of showed up day one, left us with a bad taste in our mouths, you know, and that was where, for a lot of folks, you were getting a little bit paranoid, you know, is the fact that you don't have Cabal here, Bartak standing in, does that make IHC a bit of a lame duck? But it's been anything but, right? And
yeah, I think also in that conversation, I think the narrative has been a little bit off, because it's not just a last-minute stand-in like, oh no, we've got to grab a random player and put him in. This is a sub. This is a six-man roster to a degree. I'm sure Cabal is playing far more CS with the guys, but Bartak is a player who's involved with that. Partly him being a young player, I imagine he's watching on and learning a lot from this squad, but he does know the game plan. He does know the strats of this team anyway, and so I don't think it's hard to fit in a player like Bartak into this roster for this event, as it was, for example, for Alexi to plug in config last minute without the strat book. So, you know, he's been in a lot of very important roles on T-side. We've already seen it in this game, taking a lot of space as the A-lurker and winning IHC these rounds.
all right, it's a good start for IHC. Pistol and the conversions. But this is our look to see if they can make this a really rip-roaring T-side from the get-go. Would mean everything to this Mongolian squad on their map pick, hitting the ground running versus the guys who, you know, caused them a great deal of pain to open up their run through the Katowice play.
Well, I actually know a thing or two about pain themselves, eliminating their exact roster the day after, at least, that Cloud9 beat them. What goes around comes around, Harry. But even if I actually start strong, I'm not ever counting Cloud9 out, not only because of the ability this team has to come back, but also the fact that I actually were 9-4 up against Liquid on T-side Inferno yesterday, and they still fell apart by the end, and then had nothing left to show in the second map of that series. So Cloud9 always in our good graces. Ooh, the flash changed the round for Cloud9. They wanted to reaggress. They'll trade util. It's kept 3B for now. How long will Cloud9 keep this setup as now things have been disrupted? As IHC are setting up for an A play, Hobbit starts to rotate over.
Yeah, IHC have often gone for last-minute rotates here, but that's not an option in this round. They're all into the A play. Oh, good spray for Axal, controlling it, doing a lot of damage, but only getting out of the round with one. Now, numbers alone can decide a hell of a lot here on Inferno, and so that's where Hobbit and Buster coming up with the goods is worth its weight in gold to Cloud9. 8 seconds, they've got to flush out the site player, and Annihilation will. That's a clean AWP shot. No one in position to stop that plant, so in with a chance now. The AWP in the post plant. Moto smoke down, Bartak Able to reposition down in the pit. He's going to have to keep his wits about him because Hobbit's come in on another one of these apartments flanks. Oh, no
what?
scope, annihilation,
What?
and Bartak are making it happen. A 2v4 that they've turned around and they win out. Shiro doesn't even attempt this. Cloud9 have to let this one sail past them, and so IHC up on a 4 and a chance to really hit the ground running here to open up Inferno.
Cloud9 did not look on the same page there. Now, it hurts they don't have a flash. If they have a flash, they just lob it over the site and Hobbit comes out first. But Nafany feels like he has to bait for his teammate up in apartments. He jumps through the smoke while Hobbit swings out apps. It felt like Hobbit was even a second too late, but both players of IHC were watching different spots. They had it on lockdown. You already talked about coming through that motor smoke for Cloud9. They did it in the pistol. They do it again, and IHC punish. What a sick recovery in that 2v4 slowdown where they clear Buster out from behind the boxes. That's a big round to win for IHC, and Shiro was never even a part of it. He didn't want to go jumping through the smoke with an AWP. My, oh my. IHC, that is a robbery of a round. C9 get made to look like fools, shambles on the retake. Dear, oh dear. How can you not get romanced by this IHC team? Win or lose today, Harry? I think they've made a lot more fans, and they're going to continue to do so. The more practice they get, the more officials they get in Europe. Flash back into B. No flash, rather. Just dry peek. Score. Dead to Shiro's AWP on top of the logs. Techno's trying to get that gun out of there. He's yoinked it. No, no, no. Not today, Nafany. That's my AK, and I'll be throwing it right out the map. So IHC at least stop that from getting weird. Shiro's going to rotate around.
Oh, it looked like he was going to stay very mobile with the AWP, go help out over towards A, but it looks like the call comes in that Hobbit's going to do that instead. He falls at the hands of this long lurk that IHC are throwing in again. It's kept the pressure on, right? Cloud9 constantly doubting where this one's going to end up here.
And again, a misread. Shiro's gone back.
Axal will hear footsteps, will win that first fight. Big kill from the Deagle. Buster's down in the pit as well this time.
They know.
They've got a crossfire to play around with, and Axal with this hero AK that he's been able to retrieve from the apartments puts it to good use. Nice. A third in the round. It's left onto just the AWP. Axal with all the glory out of nowhere finds a round for Cloud9. It wasn't Shiro's AWP that did the heavy lifting. Might have found the early man advantage. It's Axal with a Deagle in the apartments that tease Cloud9 up for their first.
It's a player we need, right? It's a player that should be stepping up and farming kills in a game where Cloud9 are such heavy favorites. And I do love that stat the desk brought up, that the last time Cloud9 lost to an underdog was all the way back at the Antwerp Major. It was Imperial. It was that 1-2 game to go through to the Legend stage. Crazy. That's a long time to stay on top. And yeah, you know, not the best team in the world since then, but has been in the top 10 pretty much the entire time till now. Axal, again, getting involved, throwing himself into the fight, and a great shot. Bartak, quick round the corner, killed. Cloud9, they still maintain complete control of the map. Oh, nice try for Nafany, but Annihilation fires back, and Axal still just going absolutely mental, pushing all the way through the doors and the windows in alt mid. Putting holes in IHC players.
This is terrifying for IHC. The whole map is just a big question mark right now. Like, it's very rare that you have this little control at this point in the round, right? Yeah. A minute and 10 seconds left. The round's barely even started, and you feel so uncertain in every move that you're trying to make here.
He could still be deep. They don't know. And I love that call for Axal to just go, you know what? I'm feeling great. I'm just going to disrupt them. Because think about the fakes IHC have thrown. They've kind of pulled Cloud9 back and forth between bomb sites. They found a lot of gaps on long. Axal just goes, I know I'm better. I feel more confident. I'm just going to force kills. And if you get two and then fall back into this 4v2 setup, there should be no way Cloud9 lose this round.
Well, they're going to try their hands at the B play. Shiro is here with that AWP. Tries to play ahead of the Molotov, and he will make it work. Techno on the receiving end of it. Annihilation's landed some nice shots here, but expecting much in the 1v4. It's wishful thinking. Cloud9 with their second, a high-paced round out of Axal and the boys, that then eases into that 4v2, and they hold on to it. It's interesting. Cloud9 banner have actually had Katowice's gone by a great time versus Asian Counter-Strike. All the way back in 2019 when Katowice was a major, if you all remember.
I do.
They had wins over Tyloo and Vici back there, right? If you remember, Vici were kind of going on that tear to make like a compelling run to actually ascend to some new heights. And in the year prior, besting Tyloo again. So, you know, Cloud9 as an org have farmed the Asian region before.
For sure. And, you know, to build off that, at least what's in IHC's pocket is the Asian scene has never been, I don't want to say in a better place because we don't have a lot of teams, but in terms of the level that IHC are showing, it's been the best level we've seen in some time. Other than that Tyloo run, I'm trying to remember which, I think it was a DreamHack they made it to playoffs.
The thing that's so like romantic about the IHC storyline is this idea of, you know, Tyloo always kind of got by on like the merit of the individuals and the weirdness of their game plan, whereas IHC match teams tactically and in terms of the firepower. There's still refinement that's got to take place, but it is some of the cleanest Counter-Strike that we've seen come out of the region in a very long time.
And we have a lot of different players that can step up as well. It's not just like a one-man carry. Like for so long, we talk about Bentet as the the hero of the Asian scene and like being in a Chinese team despite not really speaking the language to the same level, being an Indonesian player. But I actually don't have that. I feel like we've seen a lot of different players step up. And the major Cabal was a huge piece. That's why I kind of had low expectations of IHC coming here without him. But Bartek's filled the boots well. And Score and Blitz have been the stars of the show here at Katowice so far. So, yeah, there's more than one player that we can rely on. And that's great because you can't, as we've seen, you can't always rely on just one guy. If he's having a bad day, then everyone does. IHC, well, they're going to have a bad round. It's only pistols. 1D spotted by Nafany, and he won't give them a chance here. Molly is ready to go. And IHC don't even have a flash or a smoke to put it out. They might get split, separated in two. I love the Molly in front of the smoke. Bartek tries to commit the spray through it for Hobbit. And yeah, they're dead men, and they're finding out the hard way. Clean 5 alive round for Cloud9. And the game has truly begun.
Cloud9 are really starting to flex in these last few rounds. So this is where the question's now posed to IHC. How do you deal with that, right? You were kind of getting given a good bit of room early on to play your game. But now Cloud9 are the ones setting the terms of this engagement. Don't have the AWP for Annihilation. Even though it's T-side AWPing, he's still been able to give us some good moments with it. Instead, it's full rifles, so maybe something a little bit pacier here. Banana control taken immediately. Cloud9 concede this side of the map and they give it to IHC. Looks like they want to try and reflash back in, retake some of this control at Banana. That's all well and good for Cloud9. It means they're going to get the info, but IHC have moved pretty quickly into the holding pattern for an A play. Now, they've got to get through this double apartments hold, and they are not ready for it. They learn about that second player, going to cause them to pick up the pace on the long wrap, but Axile still nailing them in the apartments. Score rewarded for his smoke hold, but it's going to have to be another one of these 2vx's out of IHC. Just Score left standing. And he can't take it over the line. Too many targets. He's surrounded. Cloud9 tie this one up. And Axile still, you know, at the forefront of the conversation as to the guy turning this one around. It was him who put up that heroic performance with the Deagle in the apartments onto the AK that kick-started this 4-round streak in the first place. He basically has a rinse and repeat of that round there.
Yeah, and the round after the one that you're talking about was the one he aggroed down mid, got 2 kills, got out safely. Shiro won it on B, so he had 2 more to kill rounds into an anti-eco where they went B, and then he's done this again with a triple kill. Great flashes over the top as well. Cloud9 cycled 2 flashes there. IHC could barely get into post plants, let alone get kills off. So a nice round out of Cloud9, maintaining control here, despite a bit of a shaky start. We can't let early leads allow us to get ahead of ourselves. This is still Cloud9. And, I think, if anything, it's kind of sad that the Cloud9 are in this group, considering the matchup of the winner of this game playing against FaZe, who obviously lost to G2 earlier. That's a scary one, and that's still elimination. We are in the lower bracket, so You don't get any respite. No rest for the wicked. So Cloud9, this will be their warm-up game for that. Presuming they could win it. Nafany, good flash, gets away with one. He's actually popped by his teammate though, so they've got to come in and pick up the rest of the round, and Hobbit will do so with ease. 3 kills, mopping up that B play. Not much to it for IHC. Not even a CT smoke, for crying out loud.
Something I do think is kind of cool as well is, like, you know, you talk about the winner of this going on to face FaZe. Well, that would mean that we had FaZe versus G2, obviously the big rematch from the grand final last year. But then it would also be the current reigning champs defending versus the guys who won it back during the kind of online era of Katowice, right? Back in 2021.
Of course. You know, that's when Cloud9, you know, GAM at the time, they were #1 in the world for a point. They were up there in the top 5 for a while. I mean, right now, Cloud9 are ranked the lowest that they've been ranked since, like, February 2021. So, and part of that is, of course, making a roster change is always going to deduct some points. But, yeah, they have a lot to prove here, I think. And being warmed up and ready to be able to beat FaZe, that's certainly not a guaranteed win for FaZe. Like, that's a hard game. I think this Cloud9 could do it on a good day. Oh, good spam for Hobbit. Reads that they're close. Flash is coming over the top. He knows what's going on. And Hobbit's having a field day right now. We talked Axel, we talked Shiro. Hobbit's now entered the conversation. Chatty fella, and he's got a lot to say to IHC. 3 kills on the B defense. Flash back in. And I am enjoying how keen Cloud9 are to get involved. They will force the chaos. They will not let IHC play comfortable CS, play their own style. And this is a 6-round streak now, Harry. And they have not felt like close rounds.
No, it's changed a lot, hasn't it, from when this game started. For IHC, you know, there's this inescapable feeling that this one has already slipped through your fingers, that you've let Cloud9 really start to build up into this. They look terrifying. And that kind of respectful nature of gameplay that we were seeing early on is not a factor anymore. Nafany lights them up as they try to get into B. Banana is closed, and it's just score left. He's locked out. This lock-in comes to a close early. Score, lovely last bullet, but Shiro's still there for the trade, waiting with that AWP. Will not let this one get uncomfortable.
Now Nafany multi-kills, it's getting out of hand, Harry. Everyone's had a chance but Buster.
Dude, I mean, if you want more evidence that these rounds have not felt close, it's that everyone on Cloud9 is approaching 16K. They've nearly maxed out the money on every single player. The most broke is Hobbit at 10K.
Oh, poor fella. How's he going to buy that ring, Harry? He's pawned it for an M4. Not even worthwhile. IHC, they get deep fried down in Mordor. And they have been given Banana. That's a surprising part. Cloud9 have been doing this from the safety of the B-bomb site. And that's because this third rotate has been there so quick and often supplementing flashes for B peaks. Very keen to fight at the choke point. Now, I'd love to see an attempt to take back this long space that Bartak's been getting away with early in the game because of this triple B setup. It's not in this round, though. Buster's hanging around on the long side. Got a nice safe boost up on B. Cloud9 playing a more atypical round. There's the remodeling. Forces scored a fight, but no one's there to stop him. Pop back in, and that's so awkward because he actually had cover, but the molly spread last second, and suddenly his little window was gone. Nafany forces a fight that he wasn't ready for, and Hobbit, on top of the boost, is able to spray as well. They're going to run through the smoke, but there should be cover. Hobbit had to pull the pistol as Nafany also ran out of ammo, and he'll finally fly through, dropping the bomb. This is a mess of a round. 2 M4s reloading, and IHC still couldn't find that kill. Missed AWP shot. Nice kill for Blitz, but he's up against the world.
2 bullets in the AK. 2 opponents lay ahead of him. This has got to be clean. Blitz out of ammo, having to get the reload off, and that's when Shiro moves in for the kill. He picks and chooses his fights very carefully, does Shiro, with that AWP. And the moment he hears that mag run dry, he's foaming at the mouth, knowing he can put a stop to that clutch.
I can't believe this happens, right? Bartak comes through the smoke and he could not convert that kill. coming out of Grey Street. There were 2 reloading M4s, and Hobbit, thank goodness, pulls a pistol. Didn't trust Nafany in that moment. Of course, probably heard the reload of his teammate, but took matters into his own hands, did Hobbit. And Cloud9, there's not been a weak piece just yet. It's not been a weak area, really. 8 rounds straight. Another eco, another half buy here for IHC. Lots of nades, lots of potential, but that might be all this round is.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little worrisome. This was never an even matchup in terms of expectations, in terms of experience, in terms of tenure. It was one that IHC, they had to come out of the gate swinging. That has not happened. It is safe to say that now.
Oh, we thought there would be that for a moment with the 4-0, winning a sick rifle round to even get this early streak. Remember that 2v4 in the A post plant? Well, they have not even gotten into that position since. The only A plant they've had since that point was the one where Cloud9 was still double apps. And they just collapsed upon IHC as soon as they got off the bomb. Incomparable round. Pressure put in apartments, but IHC really, the object is middle. They're taking it. Long smoke is down. Cloud9 with heavy numbers here. And IHC just have to group and go.
Pop flash in. It's a great flash. Everyone was blind to that, so it does make this A-hold a little more awkward. Okay. But once again, Axile has been the bane of these A plays in the apartments, and this round is no exception. Another step up from this guy. And this is why, you know, like we put so much attention on him as an individual. This matchup's showing us exactly why, what he's capable of in these high-pressure moments where someone has to deliver, someone has to give you something to go off of. He's so often the guy we look to, and he's rising to that challenge, rising to that occasion right now.
Yeah, I mean, number 5 rated player in 2021, number 4 in 22. I mean, clear improvement there. What else can you take? What else can you need? And the heavy hitter for Cloud9.
Even that kind of ties into this idea, right, that the stakes on this matchup is so different for both these teams. For IHC, you know, this roster, the reason why you get behind it, the reason you're romanced is it's a huge breakout opportunity for the region, for the country, for these guys in particular. For Cloud9, the questions that we have is, you know, looking at Buster, looking if that was the right move. It was more about this team not performing well in playoffs and making these champion runs, right, with 2 top 5 players in the roster. The kind of stakes riding on this are drastically different between these squads. Cloud9, they're at least giving us a lot of faith right now. Not faltering, not fumbling. 9 in a row on this CT side and showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, Buster's position even gives credit to the util that you called last round for IHC, right? He's looking into the wall, he's playing anti-flash on Valve. He knows this util has been decent for IHC. They've had the flashes, but it's capitalizing upon them. That has been the problem. Hobbit mollied out of the corner, but he'll just replenish it as soon as it's over, making sure they don't go through this smoke. Oh, he's been smoked off. That didn't go how Hobbit wanted it to, but he's still fine. He survives as Blitz hides behind the fire. They're popping out apps. Buster could not have a better position for this, especially with Axel smoked in the pit. He's blind. Buster's not. Takes a fire, and he drops for the kill. Now they've got a fall on his head. He swaps sides of under balcony, and Axel's baiting them in. Hobbit's fallen. Buster will as well, but Axel's still in the back of the pit, putting up kills. 10 seconds. That had to happen. It was only 1 bullet to Bartak that could have won this round to time. Instead of bomb planted, and Shiro's got to cross past an orb.
Shiro looking conservative, right? He wants to leave that option open, a save, but it feels like Nafany is interested in giving this one a go. And I mean, hell, you've got so much money. Give this a look in. Seek your fortune. See if you can shoot for the stars and take 10 in a row. Shiro hanging around here. I would love to see him go for it, but so much time ticked off the clock. The save's kind of already been decided here.
Break the money, you know?
Yeah, there's just so much more to gain from hanging around and going for these frags, and he's going to get given fights, but Annihilation, a hop, skip, and a jump, a 5th round for IHC, and finally they break a 9-round streak.
That was actually huge, though, just to get that kill at the end, right, for Annihilation. He wouldn't have had an AWP unless he ran away from that bomb. And he kills Shiro on the way out as well. Sure, Cloud9 can afford the rebuys. Poor Axel, he stalled so much time in the pit, but he couldn't hit the one Tech9 shot to finish off Bartak that would have left bomb in pit. And IHC, they have a chance to get a good T-side, frankly. 6 rounds is fine. Of course, the context of 9 in a row for Cloud9 is terrifying. Hobbit frustrated, getting blocked out in middle with his second AWP. Nafany bullied by grenades at B, but he's got teammates with utility instead.
Interesting note, right? They have so much money that they bought up that double AWP, and then he runs back through spawn, trades it out for an M4 that's dropped there, right?
That might be why he's firing it, actually. He might be selling it for Shiro, who's AWPing B, hoping that IHC hear an AWP fire at A and then speed it up. Good catch, Harry.
IHC, a man down. Annihilation. Is he ready for Shiro's AWP on this angle? No, Techno walks in slow. They heard that AWP fire off on the other side of the map. They're not ready for it here. Flash in and Annihilation full blind. At that point, you know, you've seen 2 players, you've heard the AWP fire off. You're really starting to build this picture that it is the B commitment. Nafany boosted up from this position. He's stolen rounds away before. He gets out with 1. Blitz and Annihilation reply. The molly burns Shiro out. Nafany wanted to go, but he's just going to make the call to wait for the rest of his team. They don't want to give away a 4v2. They've done that once in this map already. Annihilation posted. Good spot for the AWP. Hits Hobbit on the rotate through spawn. Blitz wins a separate fight. Nafany knocked out of the round. This one's starting to spiral, starting to get out of hand. In the post plant, IHC are coming alive. A 2v5 when this began. Now down to the 2v2 and Cloud9 looking for double digits. Great spam from Axel. Continues to be that man to keep an eye on. Annihilation taking this one over the line to time as it grinds to a halt. He's even there to get the final kill. 4 in the round to find 6 at the end of this first half for IHC. 9-6 at the end of that first half, but the scoreline is a little deceiving as to the nature of this map. Cloud9, their 9 rounds come off the back of a 9-round streak that they put together after IHC won the pistol, stuck the landing on the conversions. Cloud9's reply was brutal.
Yeah, IHC heard start strong, they also heard finish strong, they just forgot about the middle. At least a couple of rounds dotted here and there. Overall, a good T-side, but they're going to need this pistol. As old as that saying goes, you don't have much breathing room when you're up against Cloud9 in good form. Oh, blimey.
It's a lovely shot, but Bartak's going to need a couple more like that if this round is to remain competitive. Banana aggression has come in early, so IHC know this is the A play. Bartak trying to play a little more passive over in top mid, giving up the room into this side of the map, and he will nail the second go at it with that USP, keeping the advantage with IHC on the retake. A 4v3 now. Ollie trapped inside of the site and Hobbit dead, pushing through the Moto smoke. He lives and dies by that strategy, it seems like. Gonna fall to Buster and Shiro. Crossfire between pit and site, but in the blink of an eye, they're both deleted. And Bartak pulls up with one hell of a pistol round here for IHC. That's now both pistols in this map.
Unbelievable. And if they can convert it as well, you know Cloud9 are going to come right back with a force buy. They're feeling the pressure, man. Diving through Moto Smoke, Hobbit may have heard the steps coming around short and knew he had a 1v1 there, but even so, some crazy calls for Cloud9 in these pistol rounds. They throw it all away, and clean taps from the Mongolians send them up to 7. 3 Galils, though. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. I guess it would be chicks pre-hatch. Well, those are some big eggs otherwise. Cloud9, they're trying to crack them. Full banana, but won't stay here for long. Got 1 re-smoke. They can lob it deep. Luckily, more actually left over back in spawn, so IHC can still buy a lot of time. If you throw a smoke at this point, Axel's going to go through it, and so they will not. They'll just hold on, jiggle at the corner, get that info. You know you're fairly safe. You're not going to get one bulleted by Galil, so Techno can get back in time. Good grenades. Cloud9. They take car. And IHC use their smoke sooner rather than later. Ooh, maybe another. No. It's just going to be an exit for Cloud9. That's all they've really got. 2 mollies, 2 smokes, and a couple of flashbangs. It's more than enough.
Yeah, and the fact that IHC is so passive over towards A means they're not going to have any early warning sign on this. The lack of an incendiary as well to slow down this site take is massive. IHC just having a scrap, having a brawl for the control. That is a big double from Shiro. Axile dead on the cross. But it is this Shiro-Axile combo that makes Cloud9 so threatening. And now Shiro gonna have to deliver in the clutch. But this is where this guy so often does his best work. Doesn't have that trusty AWP. Instead, it's the Galil that he's gonna have to make sing in this one. Wrapping through. He's trying to play some mind games. He's traded places with them. Crossing in a CT, has to swing now. And there's the kill from Blitz that seals the deal. In moments like that, very easy to let the pressure get to you. You look at the scoreboard, you see who you're up against. But IHC with a cool head on their shoulders, in with an 8th.
Yeah, they had a good play there, right? They didn't want to stay in the bomb site, but they had this flash setup on Coffin, so Score could go through the CT smoke, and they didn't rush it either. They held it for quite a while until they heard footsteps from Cloud9 running through that smoke. That, you know, they get 2 kills. Sure, they actually trade badly. Going 2 for 2 on B isn't that great. You know, considering the second round force buy, but Annihilation smoke spam puts them up a man. They're able to trade out to win the round. Nice recovery for IHC, but Cloud9 is still tempted back in with another buy. What will lack in util is made up for in firepower. 5 rifles. Buster even burns out Score and Banana. So already off to a hot start. he gets burnt there. Might have been blind, but there's the response. Fried is Axile, and Annihilation poaches another. Cloud9 was sitting pretty for a second. Now they've got to go back and get that bomb, and if they do, they might run into Techno. They've left him solo B, very risky, so he will fall back to the top of Banana and still has that Molotov available. Cloud9 want a double face. Keep it cool, keep it dry, no flash. He gets spotted, and he goes back to his bomb site.
Looks like he wants to hang around and fight for this.
Oh,
this
dangerous.
is a ballsy decision to have made, but Blitz has just rotated in with a flashbang, tries to set him up. Techno turned from it, and that's when Nafany finds that perfect gap, that perfect window. Blitz now having a hold on single-handedly, rises to the occasion.
Another go.
And we're here again at the Shiro 1v2, another crack at it. This time, even lower on health, even less to work with. The molly's nice. Gonna try and play in the ruins again, but Bartak's got his number. It's another one of these clutches stopped in its tracks, and I do say this earnestly, you know, it's easier said than done. You might look at it and think, well, you know, Shiro's just one guy. They should be winning these rounds. And, you know, many a team have tried and failed to put those rounds away against him before.
Yeah, and it's not like he's coming cold to this game, right? A lot of sure he's been AWPing on the CT side. That's where he got himself up second on the board. Axel obviously taking a lot of the attention this game, but Shiro's not coming quiet, not coming with some whiff shots. That's really unlucky timing for the re-aggro from Techno. But the fact that IHC are willing to make these plays is awesome, because it shows they're not scared, Harry. It shows they're not playing not to lose. They're playing to win. They're taking initiative. They've got all these cheeky flash setups we've seen on the CT side. Don't want to go too far, Annihilation. Very wide, very dangerous in middle. But I like how IHC are playing to win today. And my God, even if they're still being doubted at the scoreline, they are neck and neck with Cloud9 on the favored half right now. Bartak, gotta mow them down.
Oh, well, now they know that someone's up close. What's he meant to do here, Buster? That double kill was teed up. Annihilation trying to hold the line with the AWP, gets out with a 3v3. Now just pulls the brakes, waits for his teammates to move in for this retake.
Great position from Shiro, though.
In that first half, the boiler play from Buster kept going unchecked, and he would get away with murder on these double ATS setups. So IHC have got to remain cognizant of this. They've got to clear it. They've been burned by it before, but not this time. Score into the 3v2 with that kill there. Going to put a lot more pressure on Hobbit, who is responsible for this short side run-up. Won't have any support from his teammate in the site as he takes these gunfights. Doesn't matter. Into the 1v1. Axile tucked in. Annihilation hounding him down. It's a close angle. Oh, but the no-scope lands, and Annihilation with that kill, with the 1v1 going his way, puts IHC up in the lead. A big hat-trick round from the AWPer. IHC, they must be elated after that one. It's the most competitive round we've had since the rifles have come out.
4 bomb plants in a row, and IHC have won every single retake, Harry. Every single difficult predicament, every 3v3, every anti-clutch against Shiro. They are keeping it up, man. This is a damn impressive attempt at taking an upset win. It's their map pick. They're up around. They've made Cloud9 buy again. Desperation for Cloud9. A bit of pace behind it. They get the first kill, but score goes uncleared. Axel trades the frag, but still sit IHC a man up and send Cloud9 back to the drawing board. 2 of their 3 MAC-10s removed. It's onto the rifles now. But my goodness, this has got my attention, and it should have yours too. IHC are giving Cloud9 a run for their damn money.
Oh, Blitz gets that spot. And I love this little move, right?
Yeah.
Letting them out of top mid, not risking the engagement, instead just goes back to help out from Moto from Library. Bartak, he hears them moving up the short side, the spam connects, brings him down low, but he still delivers the opening kill on this A take. Keeps them at bay, and now with a smoke in their face with, whoa, that peak is overzealous. That peak is a lot. It leaves you wanting. Wasn't meant to be this
no,
tricky.
they had
Wasn't
it.
meant to be this hard. Bartak out of ammo.
What?
The USP dink. Exile will best him. It's a pistol round getting run back there. But Techno comes in with the trade. The young gun of IHC keeps that one in check. 11-9. A rebuy and a pause for Cloud9.
They just haven't ecoed. Keep that in mind. Cloud9 have not ecoed in this half, and you could almost justify it, right? Like you could almost, they're favorites. They've had all these bomb plants. They've had all these low econ rounds for IHC where they get out with 1 or 2 players surviving. Typically, it's just been 2 players alive every time, and Cloud9 keep investing, but it's not working, Harry. Triple Mac 10 up Banana, and again an effective trade up for IHC. Even though they throw Bartak back in, or rather he throws himself back in, IHC still come out with a clean round. And I can't believe they are making Cloud9 work this hard right now. Finally, they don't even get a bomb plant.
Yeah, I mean, you said that they've been buying every round. This is why. When you look down the ranks of IHC, Cloud9 know they're just 1 round win away from breaking the money. It's so tempting to keep putting this cash in. They can afford it. They can justify it. We might end up in a spot where it's a series of close finishes, what-ifs and maybes, and that won't get Cloud9 through this map.
And again, IHC still making plays on this CT side, not relying on anchors, but rather forcing the fights. That assault on A short, great util as C9 was scaling up on card. They mollied, they forced Hobbit to commit without his team. Then they got a nice nade, a nice flash. They just kept throwing everything but the kitchen sink at these Ts. Still, missed shot, good spam, won't connect the kill. But Annihilation is low health and Bartak's out of the round. Hobbit has started wonderfully well, and Cloud9 can't throw away this opportunity. They're double long right now, ready to go. But so are IHC. Ahead of the smoke, Blitz finds a kill. Nafany jumped the gun there without a doubt, and now Score can surprise from the side. Hobbit, oh, he tries to escape. You're not going to get that chance. 2 on 4, B is gone, and Blitz, he's in a fight for survival right now.
Yeah, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're pressuring him through B. That fight on Ashiro brings him down low. 2 players inside of this B bomb site. 1 shot away from certain death. Blitz lighting them up, keeping them trapped. They can't hunt him anymore. Annihilation is about to get... or at least you thought he was gonna. Now trapped in.
No scope.
Tries his hand at the no scope. I mean, hell, they've been pretty fruitful for him in this map. But this one, this is the round where Cloud9 break IHC. With only 1 gun salvaged, with only 1 gun still held on to. Buying is not a prospect for IHC here. They're going to have Blitz with a hero gun, that's it. So Cloud9, they kept investing, they kept bringing guns out. There was a moment where it looked like it could have been their downfall, but this was the payoff. This was the light at the end of the tunnel. The reason why you kept the investments coming down the pipeline. Their chance to springboard this into an 11-11 tie game as the money is broken for IHC.
Yeah, I mean, Annihilation's had a great map here, and he's been winning some key rounds for IHC, but he could have escaped there. He could have gotten away. He could have run back through the door. He would have been fully safe to do so, and he still chose to take that fight. So it's not going to help IHC's money in that inevitable eco round that we've been setting up. So still a little rough. And sometimes that's all Cloud9 need. They've been sandpapering this CT side all game long. Buy after buy, plant after plant, failed clutch after failed clutch, but all it took was 1, and now they are poised to build up into this T half as much as they did in the first. With a 9-round streak previously, Cloud9 finally find a single round.
I like that you were talking about Annihilation. I do want to home in on his progress, right? Because for a lot of us, for a lot of folks out there, you saw his debut at the Rio Major, and it left you wanting. It really did. It was a very rough go at it for his first outing internationally with the squad, but he's come such a long way, it feels like.
Yeah.
And in such a short space of time as well. And he's saving for that AWP here, so we've got MP9s, we've got rifles around that M4, and an AWP coming down the pipeline later on, but IHC have invested here. They still believe they can give it a go in this round.
Yeah, they didn't really have much choice but to buy here. But still the AWP saving. Just trying to hide out. Go for a 1-for-1. Bartek on Balk. If Cloud9 wrap long, which looks to be the intention, this will be so easy for them because there's just no rifles on this site. No one this area to even stop a moto split or get info that it's coming in. And Nafany, classic is for him to like walk through the moto smoke on one of these A hits. He might just go through the library side instead. Bartek forces the fight. He's got a gun. This could get weird. Annihilation, nothing to lose. He will just die, and they do find Bartek, who swings out of the apps. Nafany not needed, but his position guarantees that CT is fine, and Cloud9 can sit comfortably knowing that mid is the only area of contention. 11 rounds now. That was a perfect round out of Cloud9, despite losing a man in the apartments. They are just okay. Techno looking for a gun on the way out, and he's earned one. Give it a quick pick and get the hell out of there. Hold on to what you've got, because Cloud9, you can tell that it's changed, that they are waking up and making the most of this broken buy that IHC have finally fielded. At least leaving with 2 rifles gives them a chance to play into this next eco round. But their job is far from done.
This round gets a damn sight more interesting with all 3 of these guns saved out of it, right? Would have been very easy to just write this one off as a guaranteed Cloud9 round. But with 2 hero guns in play and the SMG as well for score, there's stakes on this one. Buster lobbing in a bit of util up the banana side, trying to test this side of the map out. It is where Techno resides with this AK. Had a bit of a rough go at it here to open up, and this round is no exception. Bested by Axel. IHC youngster locked out of the round to open up, and that's the AK, one of the most precious resources you had, loose at the top of banana with no one in a position to retrieve that. Cloud9 will not give it to you. Blitz, he tries to test the waters. Tries to give it a peek. That's the other rifle drop now as well. But this time it's been gained, put in the hands of Score.
Cloud9 have so much room in this round. Annihilation, he looked like he wanted to cross back into A, but oh dear, spam through the smoke. Tries to make a swing before it blooms. Nafany sees it coming. And a 5-on-2 with Nafany on long. Already providing a lot of impact with this position in these 2 rounds. And they've cleared everything out, so that will be 12 for Cloud9. Would love to see a more of an idea around that eco round for IHC. You know, both times Techno's tried to be flashed down at B. He's hit very awkward timings, and Cloud9 have hit him with a counter flash at the same second. So somewhat unlucky, but yeah, you'll notice the differences in how these teams have played towards Car in this map. Cloud9 didn't even touch it, man. They just played in the bomb site with 2 or 3 players. And from what we've seen, IHC have actually got good site defenses and good pop flashes in B already. But not in this round. Cloud9 break through with a flawless the anti-eco. Score will save his rifle 2 rounds in a row. But again, it could be what we saw yesterday up against Liquid for IHC on this very map. A strong start, a lead even taken, but then their opponents wake up. And Cloud9, eyes glued to the screen, looking ready to play. This is it for IHC. This is a huge gun round starting Triple B. Another AWP in Annihilation's hands, and he's been a pivotal piece of the puzzle for this IHC scoreline.
Yeah, he started saving for this 2 rounds ago as well, right? So he really wanted it to feature in this rifle round for IHC. It's got to be the difference maker. It's got to be the linchpin in this round. If not, Cloud9 is steamrolling their way towards stealing this map back in spite of IHC's best efforts. Blitz, that's lovely. Big brains clash over at long, and Blitz comes out ahead. Bartak down in the pit does have support from Techno 4K, who's concealed in the site.
What?
Spammed by Buster, and Hobbit's even found another. Blitz got to do the heavy lifting. The bomb gets away from Cloud9, and Blitz keeps putting up numbers. Just Hobbit left now down in the pit. Flash goes high, but dinked from the captain, and there's score to finish. IHC will not let Cloud9 move comfortably back into this game. That rifle round had to give results over. Blitz with incredible composure over towards long, in spite of the odds against him on his rotate back into the A site, in spite of the fact that, you know, all his teammates try and fail. Techno even spammed out by Buster, never even given a chance to play the round, but Blitz keeps them in it.
They win that after Cloud9 cash out a free kill chip, right? That wallbang you sometimes see from an AWP, but you could tell how many AK bullets that took to get Techno. We heard him gooshed 4 or 5 times. That was not an easy kill, but Buster lined it up perfectly. And still IHC win it. What a great one-way he dropped on the site as well, just below the boxes, played on top of it. And Cloud9 can't celebrate too soon, can't celebrate for long. A little streak of 3. But IHC immediately with a response. And these flashes for Akar have been amazing for Cloud9 in this T side. Annihilation, he will get traded if he doesn't force his kill quickly, but he finds it with nades out, hits 2 for 1, and he even gets out for free as well. A nade over the top would put Axel dead. But they don't throw it. They had nades on both B players. A wasted opportunity when they knew they hit him.
I think it's a huge collateral as well, because he's bought Axel a centerpiece of opening rounds up for Cloud9 down low. What else has that done in turn? It's forced him onto the AWP. Well, by that nature, Shiro might feel a little less comfortable in this, right? Especially T-side AWPing Inferno, where even the best AWPers in the world struggle to get going. Well, now it's not even in the hands of your AWPer. It's had to go on the guy who's normally your opener in moments like this.
Yeah, he's 7-0 in opening duels. 6 of them did come from CT side, but that's still an immense statistic for Axel, and he's got to play at the back of the pack right now. 20 seconds, no nades left to stop it. There's one for Blitz. It's up to the AWP. Annihilation hits his piece. Score's getting burnt out. They might still be able to recover this 3-on-3. If Blitz can stop a plant, he can win the round, but he doesn't want to go through. That AWP was trained in from Banana, and Axel's position alone has kept IHC out. They've got to reroute round coffins.
This one's going to hurt. If you go for this and you come up short, your money is gone. IHC, this could be the map resting on the shoulders of a 3v3, one where they were 5v3 when it began. Missed shot from Axel's AWP. First man out from Coffins, able to exert a bit of pressure here into the pool. Bartak, just 1 kill left. Axel swings, but Bartak wins. A 1v1 of huge proportions. A 13th for IHC, who now sit in the lead. And thanks to this guy, thanks to Bartak, they're still in with a chance here on their map pick.
I'm just so impressed at how they're playing. They're not making silly little mistakes. Blitz could have gone through. That would have lost the round, right? It's so tempting. He's spamming. He's sitting in the smoke. He knows stopping the bomb wins you this, but they have an AWP, and he knows it's going to be trained in on that exact play. Blitz decides against it, groups with his squad, and they win a difficult 3-on-3 retake with almost nothing in it. No nades.
And it all links back to that tag, that collateral from Annihilation's AWP right at the start of the round. Full circle on that one.
And one thing that Annihilation really upset me with how well the IHC were playing at Rio was in his elimination game, in a one-on-one at 14-14. He went for a wide swing in a post plant when he didn't need to, and I called him out. He lost the game for his team with that play, sure. You know, only 1 round, but it was the most pivotal round of a BO3 series against 0-0 Nation, and they lost the game straight after. The nerves